Something unprecedented is happening in Canada right now, and most Americans have no idea how close they are to gaining 4 new states. Western Canadian provinces are actively planning their exit from Canada, and this isn't just political theater anymore. This is organized, strategic, and moving faster than anyone expected. Alberta just hit a breaking point that's been building for over a decade. The province that produces more oil than most OPEC nations can't build a single pipeline to get its product to market. Every major energy project in the last 15 years has been killed by federal regulations. Northern Gateway, Energy East, Keystone XL, all dead. Billions in investment evaporated because Ottawa decided Western oil was politically inconvenient for voters in Toronto and Montreal. Here's what makes this different from every other separatist movement you've heard about. Alberta sovereignty isn't just angry protesters with signs anymore. They're training referendum volunteers, organizing legal teams, and drafting separation frameworks with the kind of precision that makes this feel inevitable. Over 250,000 people have committed to signing independence petitions when they only need 177,000 signatures to trigger a referendum. Spring 2026 is the target date, circulating in every town hall from Edmonton to Regina. Saskatchewan and Manitoba are following the same playbook. These aren't 3 random provinces complaining about taxes. This is the entire economic backbone of Canada preparing to walk out the door. The Western Canada Sedimentary Basin spans 1.4 million square kilometers of energy wealth. Alberta controls oil reserves rivaling Saudi Arabia. Saskatchewan brings uranium, potash, and agriculture that feeds half the continent. Together, these provinces generate the resource revenue that keeps Canada's economy functioning. Yet Ottawa treats them like a problem to manage instead of partners to respect. The equalization payment system forces Alberta to send billions eastward every year while being lectured about climate responsibility. Saskatchewan pays more into federal programs than it receives back, then gets blamed for missing emission targets it never agreed to. 75% of Western Canadians say they feel disrespected by the rest of the country. That's not alienation, that's rejection. The irony is brutal. 99% of Canadian oil exports already go to the United States. Alberta and Saskatchewan fuel American refineries, power grids, and transportation networks. They're already functioning as economic partners with America while being treated as revenue sources by Canada. So when polls show 33% of Saskatchewan residents and 30% of Albertans would rather join the United States than stay under federal control, that's not rebellion. That's recognizing reality. Premier Danielle Smith passed the Alberta Sovereignty Act in 2022, giving the province legal authority to refuse federal laws it deems unconstitutional. Saskatchewan followed with similar legislation in 2023. These aren't symbolic gestures. They're constitutional dress rehearsals for independence. Every carbon tax increase, every pipeline rejection, every federal interference in resource development strengthens the argument that confederation doesn't work anymore. The United States is watching this closely because the strategic value is obvious. America needs secure energy supplies as global markets become increasingly unstable. Alberta could provide 2 million barrels per day of additional crude oil capacity. Saskatchewan's agricultural exports would strengthen American food security. These provinces offer everything Washington needs: stable borders, advanced extraction technology, and partners who actually want to produce. Under American jurisdiction, the regulatory nightmare disappears. No more multi-year environmental reviews stacked with activists. No more equalization payments funding other provinces. U.S. rules are strict but clear. Meet the standard and build. That's the system that made Texas and North Dakota energy powerhouses, and it's exactly what Alberta and Saskatchewan need. The legal barriers exist, but Western lawyers stopped viewing them as walls and started treating them as leverage. The Clarity Act requires 7 premiers and half the population to approve constitutional changes, which historically meant the West always lost. But when separation becomes the alternative, those rules stop mattering. Alberta's GDP per capita exceeds $90,000, the highest in Canada. They can afford independence financially, they just can't afford staying where success gets punished. By late 2026, we could be watching Alberta and Saskatchewan formally announce their intention to become America's 51st and 52nd states. Manitoba and parts of British Columbia might follow. This isn't speculation anymore, it's planning in progress. The map of North America is being redrawn in real time, and most people won't realize it happened until the signatures are collected and the referendums are scheduled. Hit subscribe because this story is about to get a lot bigger, and you'll want to see how it ends.